Good morning, London. It's 1:55 in the morning. We're on Southampton Row, WC1, and we're going to have a little walk around Russell Square. Russell Square is, I think, perhaps the second largest square in London. The largest is in Chelsea, I think. Um, just going to walk and see whether it's all lit. Usually, small street lamps that are stationed in there. Of course, Bloomsbury is the home of the Garden Square. There are more garden squares in Bloomsbury than anywhere else in London. And they originated here in this borough, well, the borough of Camden. So we're going to walk around it. Like most places in London that have been around for ages, they've got a wonderful history. Each one has some reason that it's famous. One of the things was Virginia Woolf set a lot of her work here, and her novel Night and Day is mostly most of the characters spend their time in Russell Square. It was 1903, 1910, that book. Was the square itself was founded by or set up by the Dukes of Bedford as Francis the Duke, one of the dukes, and then they gave it to Camden to manage in perpetuity. So we have this lovely square because of them. They're one of the main leaseholders of all of London, certainly this part of London. Down towards there is the oldest garden square in London, which is Bloomsbury Square, which we maybe see another time. Best part of the walk I always like is the overhanging trees coming over the railings. Little view of the square again. All of the garden squares close at sunset, so it's a movable feast. Somebody comes round from the council with a handheld bell and walks around shaking it, saying the park is now closed. Still the quaint things occur. This one stays open, I think, almost the latest than the others. Offices and hotels, small hotels. And the square as we come around. That street there where the bus is parked is going to the back entrance of the British Museum, which you can see just on the left there with all those beautiful pillars. It's the back of British Museum. It's a lovely walk up there too, which we'll do another time. Offices. Much of this is the University of London buildings. Most of this area is university of one kind or another. UCL, University College London, SOAS, School of Oriental and African Studies. They're all under the auspices of the University of London itself. In the summer, now that it is the summer, a couple of days into summer, all the lovely plane trees of London and the parks, all green and lovely. There's something interesting. Through there, that's Senate House, big dark building there. That was George Orwell's Ministry of Truth in 1984, the novel. Not everybody knows that, I guess. It was a government building in wartime. It was a Ministry of Information. And now it's the headquarters, I suppose you call it, of the University of London, which I think still has a library in the top floor, which you can go to with permission from college. So we come around the square. Isn't the best part of lamplight when it's in trees? I think so. This is interesting. This is a cabman's hut for the taxi drivers of London, the hansom cabs. It's a listed building. They're all listed now. There's only, I think, 13 left. There was originally 61 of these made. Who knows why 61 was chosen in the 1800s for the cabmen, which at that time they were all horse-drawn, and they had nowhere to shelter when they wanted a break. And they all used to just pull up their horse-drawn cabs and go into pubs, which wasn't the greatest idea. So they built these for them to come in to a little place and be able to have a cup of tea and buy a lunch at subsidized or at least cheaper rates. And of the 61, as I said, all the losses were mostly from the Blitz. London was bombed and most of them were destroyed. And the ones that are left are all listed and still used by Captain. See, that's the Hackney Carriage Drivers Company. Members of the public can buy a cup of tea from the hatch, but they can't enter. It's only for the guys from the black cabs. More building for the university. Just as an aside, we can't go there now, but round the corner from that blue construction stuff, to the right of it is where, and on the top floor of it, is where T.S. Eliot had his office. It's where the offices of Faber and Faber used to be originally. And there's a plaque around the corner there in honor of T.S. Eliot and his attic office. Continuing around the square. It's mentioning Virginia Woolf earlier. This is, of course, the territory of the Bloomsbury Group, of which she was probably the most famous member, or is now. But her husband, Leonard Woolf, her sister, Vanessa Bell, her husband, Colin Bell, Duncan Grant, Maynard Keynes, Lytton Strachey, Dora Carrington, perhaps, all lived in the area. And there's a blue plaque farther down. At the end of that street, there's another garden square, and they lived in that square. That would be Gordon Square. Flats, offices, as we come around. The night buses of London. Almost all the way around the square. And there's one more kind of thing to see. There's a lovely cafe in there which you can perhaps just about see. It's open during the day for food and drink. Now there's only foxes in there, in the grounds of Russell Square. This last thing we're going to just quickly show you is this marvelous hotel. This was the original Russell Hotel, like a castle, yes? It's not all that lit today. It's now owned by Kimpton Hotels. It's renovated a few years ago back to its magnificence. That's grade 2 listed, so it can't be touched. Well, without permission. No brick can be changed. Red phone boxes, of which there are not many anymore, and none of them are used as phone boxes. Because we don't need phone boxes anymore. Thankfully, they haven't taken them all up. So we just end with a view of the 5-star Kimpton Hotel. And Southampton Row. Good night, London.